Hello, welcome to Bad at Board Games. My name's Brad Lake, and I'm bad at board games, so you don't have to be like me. Anyway, what are we talking about today? Ezra and Nehemiah. Don't click off. There's a game here. Stick around, find out what my BGG rating is, find out what my value rating is of this game, pros, cons, why this may be something you've skipped over, like I had, and maybe you shouldn't. Best game of the year so far? It's definitely a contender. Stick around, find out why. Let's jump right in. We have the designer and publisher is Garphill Games. Same group who've made a lot of their games. Although I would say that this didn't feel like some of their other games, so that may be why I like it. SG Macdonald and Shem Phillips are the designers of this. And the theme, we have city building, and it's a biblical story of Ezra and Nehemiah. And jumping right into the mechanics, we have chaining, we have hand management, we have multi-use cards, so you're going to have different sections of the cards that you're playing. We have a tech tree out on the board, and a couple of them actually. And then we have the variable setup, even variable player tableau as well. This does play 1 to 4. It has a solo. Played it in the 3. We've had 2, 3, and 4. So I haven't played it solo. I would imagine if you've played Garphill Games before and you like their solo, you're probably going to like this one. This is a longer game. This is actually a meatier game than you may expect. I would say of the Garphill games I've played, this one is up there. You're looking about 45 minutes per person. We took all of 3 hours to play after a teach, and the teach was no short lesson. But as usual, this will always get a little bit faster. But I would still say, like, if you had 4 people that were going to play it, you're looking at a 2+ hour game at best. I don't think you're not getting this played in under that. So, 35, 45 minutes per player once you get moving. So we'll go on to the turns. We've got, so this one's interesting. So the whole game is 3 turns or 3 rounds, right? But each round makes up 6 days of the week, and then the 7th being the day of rest. So, I guess you have, then the 7th day is like your cleanup and your victory points and feeding your people and so forth. So if you don't really count that as a turn, you have 18 times you're going to get to do something. And in this game, I didn't feel like this was a long game, even though it did play long. I felt like I was always engaged, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. So that's some of the pros that are coming up. Let's see. On your turn, you are going to play 1 card, and this is going to be kind of where I'm going to do things a little different because I don't have the pictures in front of me. So you're going to play one of these cards here, and as you can see, they have banners on them. And then you're going to play that onto your tableau, and your tableau is here. And if you notice down here at the bottom, we already have 3 people with their banners. Your very first card that you play you're not going to have any other people sitting there, so you're going to just add up the banners that you have. So in this case, if we just played this 3rd card, you could see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue ones, or 1, 2, 3 gray, or 1 red. And then those are different sections of the board. You're going to then decide which one of those actions on the board that you want to do. So in this case, you're probably going to look at this and go like, I've played this in a way that I want to go do the blue actions, in this round of 6. I'm mainly trying to do some blue actions, and then maybe in the 2nd round, I'm going to try to do red actions, maybe, and then the 3rd round, I might try to do gray. But that isn't necessarily the case. But kind of gives you an idea of that's what playing a card means. You're going to have 4 cards in your hand at all times. And then you can also do an auxiliary action no matter when you play. So down here at the bottom, and this kind of reminds me, like I said, I've played Garphill Games, but I haven't played a lot. But this reminds me of Hadrian's Wall, where you have different parts of the cards that you can use. Down here, if you pay a coin to whoever owns the Valley Gate, then you can get a white, I'm going to call it a marble block, or you can pay 2 coins in addition, and you can get 2 marble blocks. And each one of these cards has something similar to that. So you're always going to be able to play your card, and you're going to have this as one of your auxiliary actions. The other auxiliary action, and it's maybe a little bit harder to see, is you can take your scholar, which are some of your workers, if you look here, and place them up here, and they kind of get locked in place for the whole round. So you're only going to be able to put a worker there once. Always some exceptions, they'll let you bring a worker back. But then you could boost your action. So if you went up here at the top right, where you see this little blue banner, and then you count up your banners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here at the bottom, and you placed a guy here, you're going to boost it, and you're going to get like 2 more banners to add to that. So now you have 7. So that lets you do a bigger action out on the board. So pretty cool stuff. And then that's your turn. So you're just going to continue to go around until you've played 6 cards. And at the end of that, you're going to take one of those cards that you've played and tuck it over here on the right. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that have kind of like built up. And so this is toward the end of the game. And then that's going to give you victory points as you go. So, you know, it's just like, I like this card, but I like the victory points that are at the top of this card. And I'm going to go back to this other picture again. Up here at the top, you know, if I like this red action right here is pretty strong because it gives me 3 banners. But then once I tuck it, I now don't have access to that card for the rest of the game. But I really may like the victory points that score at the end of each round, and I want that 3 times instead of just twice or once at the end of the game. So you kind of like, you're juggling that and you're balancing that. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if we got any. Show the board here. And I wish. Oh, that got really big. Okay, so these sections of the board here, you've got this like tech tree that you're able to go through, and they give you bonuses for the actions you're doing later. And these are kind of the blue actions. You've also got over here on the right, this is a blue action where you can move your tent around the city, and every time you're moving, you're getting some resources that you may want to use that help you take other actions, right? Then all the way around on the outside of the map or the board, you've got the wall sections that you're building. So those are the gray actions. And then over here in this area here, here's your temple actions, and those are the red banner actions. But you still are, and you have to feed all these people. So you're trying to unlock ways where you can get more workers, but then just like Agricola and Caverna, at the end of the round, you have to feed them. They don't die, but they do lose you 2 victory points for everyone that you don't feed at the end of 6 rounds. So you have to get bread. And there's always this push-pull. The red I kind of had to ignore. Probably not the best idea, but we've seen people ignore the red actions and win. We've seen people just concentrate on the blue and win. Seen people concentrate on the walls and win, and then seen people that concentrate on the red and won. So the different parts of the board, there's multiple ways to score and win and all these kinds of things. But it's always this push and pull, and what are you trying to get? And you can't ignore the gray so much because you want to pick up these blocks that are around the board. Like the yellow is gold, and the Black is coal that can help feed the fire, or you can change them into coins with different characters that you play. The white and the brown are different kinds of stone, or well, it's wood and stone. So as you're building different things, pretty slick. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot that you can choose from. I never felt like you're gonna feel restricted because you want to play blue actions and maybe you're only drawing red cards, or you're wanting to play the gray and build walls and you're not getting any of that stuff. So you have this bit of strategy and openness that you're looking at, but at the same time you're kind of like restricted based on what you're drawing, and especially at the beginning of the game when you're thinking like, oh, I want to go in tech tree, and you can't, somebody else does. That's frustrating. So, but what are you gonna do? So I'm kind of getting into the pros. I realize that. But to summarize, 3 rounds, 6 turns per round, and a 7th cleanup phase. And then you continue to go and go and go. So kind of simple, but all these things meshing together, and a bit of tightness in it with ways that allow you to loosen things up. So there's a lot of good going on. So let's get to the pros. I like the interactions of all these mechanics. So you do get some chaining. I won't say it's not Hadrian's Wall, endorphin rush chaining kind of thing. I'm continuing to chain and chain and chain forever. That would probably even make the game longer. But there is that you can do. But I think as you're trying to figure it out, it almost doesn't give you the endorphin, because you're like, oh yeah, I can still do that. Or, oh, you're trying, or you're paying for that chaining, so to speak. But it's still great. The card selection and interaction, I really liked this. I keep going back to this picture. I wonder if there's another, so these cards that you're playing, you have a stack. Everybody has the same ones. And then you're drawing from that. You're always drawing up to 4 cards, so that you can kind of understand. You can choose the way that you want to go, and you have 4 spots to put these characters, and you're going to draw six cards. I can't remember what. I think it's 6 days. But you can never have a stack of more than 2 cards. So, after you place 4 down, your 5th and 6th card, you can't just play them both on top of something else. So this may seem a little confusing as I'm explaining it, but just think of, on your tableau, you got 4 spots. Those spots can only ever have 2 cards on it. So when you're playing that 5th and 6th card, now you're covering something up, and you're like, okay, well, I have to cover up something good that I didn't want to. It makes it interesting, and it's a makes your brain think and how you want to do it, and you may not get as strong of a move on your 6th turn as you think you are going to have because of that. And I love the auxiliary action that allows you to do something else, regardless of what you chose down here at the bottom. And you're usually having coins, or you're doing a trade action with this. And then at the end of the round, the complication at the top, where you're picking one of these 3 one of the cards that you played, not the ones that you didn't play, to then tuck and get the victory points at the end of the week, so times 3. So that first round, is it going to force you into going one direction? What if you don't get the cards to go to that one direction? Pretty cool stuff. So I really like that auxiliary action on top of that. I love the fact that you're adding these banners. So on turn 1, you play 1 card, you're pretty weak. You're only going to have like this one here. We've got 2 grays and a red. I want to go get some walls. Maybe that just gets you a cube. But then looking at what I drew, hopefully I'm drawing more gray cards in this 6 turns I'm going to have in this round 1. I'm going to really go after the walls. Things like that. I enjoyed that because it felt more powerful as I was doing things. I'm getting more workers out. I'm able to do a bigger action. I'm able to go up further on the tech tree, things like that. And then, just like Agricola and Caverna, you have to feed your workers at the end of the week. Ugh. I didn't feed all my workers at the end of the week. I found it hard. It was like, where's the bread? Where am I going to get this? And so I wasn't able to feed 2 of them, and I lost 4 victory points right at the get-go, right? So, there's still that. And then the second turn, I went after bread, and I got enough bread that my second and third round, I didn't ever have to concentrate on that. Probably to my detriment, but I wasn't going to not have bread going forward. Let other people struggle with that. So that was pretty cool. Talked about the decision making and tucking at the end of the round. Multiple ways to win. That's a pro. Most games don't. This is usually the hardest part about some games, right? It's like, there's a way you have to play, and if it's take that, you may get blocked and you can't play that way. But like I said, we've had somebody concentrate on red and win, somebody concentrate on the blue actions and win, somebody concentrate on just the wall actions and win. And it's not that you're not dabbling in some of the others, but those are the 3 main areas of the game, and they were able to pull it off. Could also be that Jill's just way better than the rest of us. Oh, and Ashby. And I'm not anti-religious, but the reason I didn't buy this, I didn't, because it was a religious game. I didn't feel like this was being forced on me. So that was nice. I was able to just enjoy the game, so that was nice, but that can be a con, and and it's to my own detriment that I let that theme keep me from backing this game, but that's my own fault. But just letting you know, like, that can be a barrier to entry for some people, and I'm sitting here telling you, don't let it be. Cons ish. Now this is with an ish. There's a lot of things you can pick from. And then when you're doing the wall actions, so one of the things with the walls is you're hoping to have enough banners that you can pull the stones or whatever that's on that wall, and then you want to build that wall back up, which means you need to have enough banners, gray banners, to grab each one of those cubes, and they're different values. That uses up banner actions, and then you have to have a big enough banners left over to then build the wall back up. And then if you do that, you're able to play a card that gets you something else back, right? It's a con. We had several times where people were using a worker to start that whole process, and then they got to the end of the process and realized, oh, I need another worker now to finish building the wall, and I'm out. So there, you can sit there and think that I've got it all planned out. When it's my turn, I'm going to be able to do that. And then, oh, that's right, I forgot. I used the worker to do this so that I could have enough banners, so forth and so on. So that happened multiple times. Not like every time, but there was at least 2 or 3. I have to undo my whole round because of that. So that's a con. But in a good way, in a bad way. Setup. There's a lot to set up. There's a lot going on here. But if you're a Euro gamer, if you're used to lots of chits and lots of cubes and all of that, and each one of your player boards is different. Everybody has something different going on, at least a little bit. And then teaching the game. That as with any complicated game, teaching the game can be difficult. Now, some are easier than others, even though they're complex. The teach of it is, I think, can be fairly easy because there's not a lot going on. But it has so much depth. You're like, oh, that's where the struggle gets in. This one, there's so much going on that you just kind of have to, like, okay, this section is doing this, and you teach some of the basic mechanics of those 3, but then you have to explain all the icons that are out there and what each section does, and the temple sections, and the red areas you can only do so many actions depending on how many people you have in the temple, the workers that you're giving up. There's just a lot. And then what you're doing on the 7th day, and you have this flame track down here, there's a lot going on. So the teach is rough. The weight rating, let's take a look. So they're on BGG. We've got a weight rating of 3.28. Or no, 3.82. Dyslexic, I guess. There, I would say that's fine. Is it a 4? To me, Lacerdas are 4s or above, right? There's a lot going on in this game. I don't think the interactions are as difficult because it's more like I have to pick an area that I'm going to work on, and then you can kind of understand that area. So, it doesn't push this over a 4 for sure. So in that 3.5 to 3.8, I would agree with this. I think this is a heavy game, and it's probably why I enjoyed it. The value rating. So if this were like $100, I'd probably rate it at a value of 1. If this were $25, I'd probably rate it at a value of 5. You can pre-order this game. It's delivering from Kickstarters now. You can get this between $38 and $50. So from their website, if you wanted to give them full retail, it's a $50 game. Game Nerds, I believe, has it at $38. So for the experience I've had with this game and the price at $38, I'm going to give this a 5. I think this game blew me away. I was really impressed with it. Longer game, didn't feel like a longer game. Just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. That gets into our BGG rank. So right now we don't have a lot of ratings on Ezra and Nehemiah. We're at 8.3, 423 ratings. So that's not a lot yet because it's just the Kickstarter people and the Kickstarter people that have had time to play it. We're excited to pull it out and rate it. But right now, with the plays I've had, I think this is a 9. Like I'll commit to that right now. I'm going to say we've got a 9, and I've really enjoyed it. Now, where I like chaining, I like some worker placement, I like that card selection. There's a lot of things that are for me that are pushing this into a 9 area. It's Derek's wife, Jill. This is like her current favorite game. That's why I don't have a copy of it, because she just wants to continue to play it. But I had no desire to play this game. I was just, like I said, I was put off by it. It wasn't something I was interested in, but that was a big miss on my part. And so I don't know if there's is it getting a whole point based off that? Like, it's always nice to find a game that is like, wow, this shocked me. This is not what I expected. This was a really good game, and that this game did that. So, now that you oh, Brad thinks it's great, I'm going to have this high expectation for it. You're probably going to be a whole point or 2 below where I'm at. But I don't think you're going to find this below a 7. So, for me, we're sitting at I could maybe say an 8.5, but I don't like to do halves, so I'm saying it's a 9. This was a solid game, and I'm not a Garphill fan, so take that for what it's worth. If you like the games I like, I think you'll like this game. Who is this for? So I think if you're a Hadrian's Wall player, now this isn't the same designer, but you're going to kind of feel some of that same thing going on. Probably if you're a Garphill game lover and love all their other stuff, you're probably going to like this. I really didn't feel like this was like the other games, so that may also make you not like this game. I'm not 100% sure, but I know Derek and Jill are, and they really like this game as well. So from two sides of it being like, I'm okay with Garphill, I don't have anything against them, to people who really like it. Well, we all are coming around on this game and enjoy it. So I think if you're in that realm, you're going to enjoy this game. I also think if you are a player that likes multiple ways to win, you can try different strategies. I think this is a game for you as well, because we've had people win in all 3 sections, trying different things. Pretty impressive and some pretty high scores. You're gonna be over 100 on this game, which is I guess that's like every Euro game. Most games, if you're over 100. um, things to watch out for. I mean, like if you don't like the theme, but you like a good game, give this a try. Like that's kind of where I was at. This is actually a heavier game. It's not. It's not a 3. It's not a 2. We're pushing 3.5, 4, and didn't feel like the theme was like shoving in my face. Now it's in the rules. You're going to read all of that, but when you're playing the game, it's just a nice mechanic. Your city building, your tech treeing, like you're feeding your workers, those kinds of things. I enjoyed it. That's all I have to say about that. So, what do you think? Where are you at? Was this kind of a put you off originally, or were you like, nope, I'm all in all the time because of the designers, because of the theme? Where were you at in your decision making of this? $38, man. I haven't seen a game this good cost that much. Is this the game of the year? This may be the best game best game I've played this year so far, hands down. This has got, for me, kind of like Heat vibes all over it, and I love the Heat racing game. This game was that good. I really, really have enjoyed it. Really shocked. So far, best game of the year, right here. Anyway, just remember, no matter how you play, whether it's solo, which you can play solo, with family or friends, enjoy whatever you are bringing to the table. Have a great night.